Hi guys, like you guys know, my name is Sam. Today, the title for the message that I'm going to be talking about is called Empty Nets. Earlier, there was some misunderstanding with my accent. They heard nest. So it's nets, like fishing nets, okay? Before I begin, I would like to pray in my native tongue, if you guys don't mind. Please bow your head. Nung piyak man ikung gamato pa kay kwan pi de kan nuai jong kanang monai jong nang man nung pi man kung gamito po kasi tuni ta ka chugen te hi sana ko ta lung tang ong ya din la nang ma makai na to ong hilin nang ma khasyang chun makai na ka kam ka gen din te nang ma ku to ong to pa kasi and we all say amen. So as you guys know, I'm a senior in college. Some of you guys are freshmen, some of you guys are new to the faith, and as you know, we went to a mission trip earlier, and I want to talk about, I want to be honest tonight. This message I'm going to be giving tonight, I heard when I was a freshman in college. If we're being honest, a lot of us, we're just going through the motion. You know, we wake up from our dorms, go to class, maybe some of us, go to work. Some of us, we got practice for our sports that we play, and then we go back home, and then we repeat that cycle. We're living in that cycle of that motion, right? And somewhere in that cycle, something starts to feel empty, because it's the same every day. The things that we're doing, the things that we're living, is just a repeating cycle. It starts to feel empty in your heart. And I want to talk about, you know, if you live a good, healthy life, maybe you live to the age of 80, maybe 90, maybe if you're really healthy, above 100, right? But I feel like so many people die before they even reach 20. I'm not talking about physical death. I'm not even talking about spiritual death. I'm talking about the people that are constantly living in this motion, living every day without a purpose, without a guidance in their life. They're just living through the motion. They're trying to figure it out, but they don't know what they want to do. And I want to tell you, sometimes we feel alive. We are alive, but something is missing in our hearts. You ever sit in your room alone, no music, no distractions, just you and your thoughts, and it hits you in your head. What am I doing with my life? What do I want to do with my life? What does my future hold? Why am I here? Some of us, we don't even like to be alone. We're humans. We want that companionship. Because when it gets quiet and we're all alone, the emptiness in our head, it gets loud. You know, maybe we're trying to escape that. So what do we do with that emptiness? We try to fill that emptiness, maybe with relationship. We look for a relationship. Maybe social media, maybe success, you're looking for success, maybe validation from your peers. We start casting our nets in different places. That's where nets come in, right? Nets. Have you guys ever fished with nets? No? Okay. I feel like some of us have been casting our nets in this thing we call life. Over and over again. And what have you been pulling up out of your nets? Because from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, a lot of us, when we fish out our nets in what we call life, what comes out is loneliness. What comes out is anxiety, depression, emptiness. It's nothing. You think you're pulling something up, but you're actually pulling nothing. You've been trying, but it feels like nothing is there because there isn't nothing there. We've been told, maybe from your parents, maybe even from your peers, that when you get that degree, when you get with that person, when you get that job, that's when you finally make it. That's when your life will be better. That's when you have enough money. Maybe you've been told that, right? Do you guys know the actor Jim Carrey, the guy that played the mask? So this is his acceptance award, what he said during his second Golden Globe winner award. He said, "I dream of winning another one when I go to sleep, because then it would be enough." That's the most prestigious thing he could have won, but he wants another one. You see, in life, it's never going to be enough. You don't arrive at enough by chasing more. And here's the reality we don't like to think about. Time. It doesn't wait for anyone. And let me tell you guys, life isn't fair. Some of you guys know I'm an immigrant, you know. Living the lifestyle I'm living now is like a huge difference. Like I used to only have like 2 pairs of jackets, 1 pair of shoes. Like this is luxury for me. Huge difference. Some people are born with talent. Some people with opportunities. Some people, they're born with like a silver golden spoon. Some with the right environment. Some with a head start, you know. We're all born different. But let me tell you guys something. We all have something in common. We're all running out of time, and death is the only guarantee. No matter how rich you are, no matter how talented you are, we're all going to face death. So the question is, it isn't if your life will end, because we know guaranteed your life is going to end. The question is, what are you doing with the time that you've been given? Are you spending your life chasing things that don't last? Or are you living for something that actually matters? Think about that. How you live in your everyday life, in campus, at your dorms. Because I want to talk about a man named Simon. I feel like his life looks very similar to ours. If you guys did read your Bible, I'm going to be talking about Luke chapter 5 a lot. That's where we get the introduction of Peter. Peter, he's a fisherman. That's his job. That's his livelihood. That's his identity. That's how he makes money. That's his whole deal, right? That's his expertise. And the Bible, when we're reading Luke chapter 5, it says he's been fishing all night. He's casting his nets out from his boats. He's been fishing all night. Imagine working all night. Some of you guys that have a job, have you guys worked all night, felt exhausted, tired, giving it everything that you've got? In Luke chapter 5, verse 5, Simon says, "Master, we've worked hard all night and we haven't caught anything." This is Simon talking to Jesus. Nothing. They haven't caught anything all night. He's the expert. This is what he did for like a long time. And when we're reading this, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything." That nothing, I'm not talking about fish. I'm talking about life. I've been studying, but I feel lost. I've been working, but I feel empty. I've been trying this relationship, but I feel alone. Have you had those thoughts? I've been doing everything that I'm supposed to do, that I know, and I've got nothing to show for it. Have you had that thought? You see, one detail about this meeting that he had, Simon, he was fishing, but he was fishing in the dark before. He was in darkness. He was fishing all night, trying to catch fish. And some of us, that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're grinding, right? But we're in darkness. We're grinding in darkness. And we can't see clearly. Because when we work in darkness, we chase the wrong things. When we work in darkness, we trust the wrong voices. We hang out with the wrong crowd. When we work in darkness, we're defined by the wrong standards. And when we work in darkness and we get out our nets, we're pulling out emptiness. We're pulling out nothing. We're getting nothing out of working in darkness. But in Luke chapter 5, we're introduced to Jesus. Jesus, he stepped on Simon's boat so he could talk to people a lot more clearly. And Jesus tells him, put out into deep water and let down the nets. Now think about that. Jesus, he was a carpenter. Simon is a professional fisherman, right? And Jesus is telling him how to fish. You know? It doesn't make sense, right? But Simon, he says something very powerful. He said, but because you say so, I will let down the nets. Even when it didn't make sense, he obeyed. In Luke chapter 5, verse 6, it says, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. Breakthrough didn't come from more effort. It came from obedience to Jesus. You see, Simon, his net didn't change. His boat didn't change. Simon didn't suddenly become a better fisherman. The difference was Jesus. He stepped on his boat and he gave him an order and he listened. He obeyed. In John chapter 8, verse 12, Jesus is speaking and he says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. You see, in this story, Simon was working in darkness. He was working in the dark. But when the light showed up, everything changed. Here's something crazy. Jesus didn't just give him fish. He gave him purpose. In Luke chapter 5, verse 10, it says, Jesus said to him, from now on, you will fish for people. Jesus took what he was doing and gave it eternal meaning. Simon didn't just get a blessing. He got a new identity. Later, Jesus even gives him a new name, Peter. That's what Jesus does. That's what Jesus does. If you don't have Jesus in your life, I want to tell you right now, he doesn't just improve your life. He transforms your identity. At the end of the day, you won't find purpose in what you catch, only in who you follow. I want to talk about Exodus chapter 16. In Exodus chapter 16, He provided his people, the Israelites, manna from heaven. He provided them food every day so they wouldn't get hungry. But he gave them an order. He said, only take what you need for today. If they tried to hold on to more for tomorrow, if they tried to get more than they could eat, the manna would rot. It would have maggots. Why would God do that? Why would he only provide for today? Because I want to tell you something. God, he wants to have a relationship, not just provision over your life. When we read the Lord's Prayer in Matthew, it says, give us this day our daily bread. Daily bread, not weekly, not monthly, daily. God is not asking you to have your whole life figured out. He's asking you to walk with him daily. Some of us, even me, like we're all stressed about our future. But God is saying, trust me for today. Don't worry about tomorrow. And I'm so grateful for that because when God put a calling on my life, let me tell you guys something. When God put a calling in your life, he already factored in our mistakes, our failure, even our stupidity, you know. He already factored all that, so don't worry about that. Let me ask you something. right now in your life, what are you chasing? That you believe do you believe that what you're chasing right now, that it will finally make you enough? Enough to fill that empty void in your heart? Enough to make you feel whole? Enough to make you feel proud? What if the reason why you still feel empty is because you're chasing something that was never meant to fill you? Maybe the reason why your net is empty when you pull it out is because you've been casting in the dark. And maybe tonight, Jesus is stepping into your boat. He wants to step onto your boat. Not to just give you success, but to give you a purpose. He wants to give you that purpose that you've been searching, that you've been seeking. Some of us, we walked in here tired, from class, from school, from work. But some of us are even more tired, and I'm not talking about physical tiredness, but tired of the heart. Coming in here, have you been tired here? Have you been feeling fatigued here? Tired of feeling empty? Like a void inside? You're just tired. It's weighing on you, like a chip on your shoulder. You've been casting your net in what this game we call life over and over again, hoping this time something would fill it. Oh, that didn't work, I'm gonna do this. That didn't work, I'm gonna hang out with them. Over and over, trying something new to fulfill that. But all you keep pulling up is emptiness. Has that been you? Because you were never meant to find purpose in what you catch. You were meant to find it in who you follow. And tonight, I want to let every single person here know that Jesus Christ is stepping onto your boat. The question is, will you keep casting in the dark, or will you follow the light? At the end of the day, you won't find purpose in what you catch, but only in who you follow. Thank you.